Do you need encouragement to turn tragedies into your own triumphant life story? If so, this podcast is for you. Listen to powerful guests who have persevered through challenges so you can gain strength to build your championship life. The host of Professor of Perseverance podcast, Dr. James Perdue.
Hey, come on in on this day after Christmas for us to get some inspiration, some motivation, and let's get all fired up, knowing that when we get kicked in the teeth, we may have to get some implants or something, or in my bridges maybe, but we can move forward in life and know that we can be stronger and be able to help other people in the future. You know, I'm a big believer in that pay it forward thing. So, hey, today our topic, we're going to be talking with a woman that she was sexually assaulted, okay, and how she overcame. I mean, I can't hardly imagine anything like that. Being a man, hardly imagine anything like that. So let's get over here. Let me push this button here, and let's introduce Sara Thornhill, aka SaraWebbSays. And so, Sara, appreciate you being on the show with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
You having a beautiful day in your home place?
Oh, yes. It is sunny in Florida. These winter days at 75 degrees make all the hurricane evacuations worth it.
I tell you what, those are some rough months y'all had this year. I mean, you got hit, what, twice at least? Twice that I know of.
We didn't have direct hits, but yes, we did have some damage for sure. And I'm from Louisiana originally. I went through Hurricane Katrina 20 years ago. So,
okay. Yeah.
Very familiar. Yeah.
I got a friend lives, I forgot. She used to live in Punta Gorda. I'm not sure where she's at now. She has MS and she's in a nursing home now. And she's had to hunker down and tell me stories with, last couple of years, some hurricanes passing closer to her then. So, Kim, hey, if you're listening, hey, how's it going, Kim? Appreciate you showing up if you're coming on. All right, Sara. So, all right, sorry to hear about what happened and everything about the sexual assault and stuff. But I'm glad that you're able to overcome, become more power. That way you can empower and help other people in the future. And I mean, that's the main thing of this topic here. Just showing how we can get over anything, providing we do our part. And we can't sit, we're going to mope and complain and bitch about, I don't care what. Okay. But eventually we got to get up and move on and go from there. And so, I couldn't imagine something like it happening, but I'm just glad you were able to get on the other side so you could help the next person.
Yes, absolutely. Healing requires injury, and that old adage of smooth seas do not make for strong sailors.
There you go. Hey, that's a good one. I have to use that.
Yeah, I mean, you think about like when we work out our muscles, we literally rip the muscles open. And if we nourish the muscles correctly with enough water and literal nourishment through food and rest, then that rip, that damage to the muscle actually makes it grow bigger. And that's right. How we can see our difficulties is,
That's it. Build up to that lactic acid and everything, and we get that feel the burn.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the key thing that I heard you say here is rest. There's so many of us that we're struggling, and then we get in our head too much, and we have that hard time of getting good sleep, and which is not helping at all. So yeah, we've got to be able to rest to be able to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to mention everything else involved, like you said, the proper nutrients, the proper, and here in our case, what we're talking about would be mentally, whether you're seeing someone professionally, psychiatrist, psychologist, talking to a friend that you can trust, something that's going to help you with this.
Right. Otherwise, we'll turn to those disempowering coping mechanisms. But of course, we can have coping mechanisms that are empowering,
Mm-hmm.
that allow us to move through in a healthy way. Unfortunately, when I was raped by 8 men at the age of 28, I didn't even look at it, didn't deal with it, didn't go to the police, barely told anyone, just told
Mm-hmm.
my sister. And it came back to bite me in the butt, if you will,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow,
because
I didn't know 8. I saw where your profile said multiple. I did
Mhm.
read that, but
Yeah.
wow, 8.
Yes,
I just hated to. I just hate, and I've heard other stories. Same thing as. I mean, I'm going to ask this question. I don't. I hope it's not. But why would you not report something like that? Is it from embarrassment? Um, Not thinking people would believe you? Um, I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't report that. I mean, because I'd want those other guys off the streets.
right.
So,
I understand your perspective with
but for example, let me go. Had a podcast one time, and the girl was talking about how her grandfather prostituted her out as a grandchild,
Mhm,
and it never got he never got in trouble for it
mhm,
because she didn't report him
mhm.
and didn't report the other men. And so I'm just wondering why.
Because then we have to actually look at it and deal with it. And
Yeah.
there's a certain amount of, our subconscious is in control of most of our
Hmm.
lives. And if our conscious mind isn't equipped to properly process it, we'll just sweep it under the rug and not deal with it, and instead just go about our business as if it didn't happen. You know, there was no conscious decision about it. It was
Yeah.
just not wanting to. I survived. I was badly bruised.
Hmm.
It was, trigger warning. It was both holes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it was an incredibly traumatic. And I was on vacation. I was on vacation with my family. I did tell my sister what happened. She encouraged me to go to the police. I didn't even deal with it mentally. I just literally put it aside.
Shut
And
down with it.
yeah,
I mean, I could see if someone, I don't care, man or woman, they go, well, it was too embarrassing. I didn't want to go through that, or yeah, they wouldn't believe me. And then I've seen too many. I know you've seen it. Well, I say I don't know. You say I'm pretty sure you see how many other people that have been raped or whatnot, and then they look like they're the bad person when they do go to court. They make
mm,
them look out to be the bad person, not the one that actually raped the person.
oh
And
yeah,
go to court, and they're made the one to look bad. And so I can see where not want to be put through that
the shame.
system, yeah, that shame
Mhm.
of that system
The
because the
shame.
way you've seen other people,
Mhm.
perceived. Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm just grateful that, like I said, I survived. And one of the silver linings is that I don't carry that shame. I don't carry the guilt. I don't carry any embarrassment. And I also don't carry any anger or resentment or any ill will toward the men who did that atrocity. Because I did for a little while when I first started going through therapy and doing
Hmm.
my own work around it. But it's like the analogy of if you're driving a car and somebody cuts you off and they don't maybe realize that they've cut you off, or maybe they're in an incredibly big hurry and they think that they have enough space to get in front of you. If I get angry, then it's my nervous system, my adrenaline and the cortisol and the thoughts that result from me deciding that I am going to get angry. The other person who allegedly cut me off won't experience any of those sensations because that's not what they're focusing on. And so it's about a choice of, I imagine that those 8 men probably are not ruminating over what they did that night under the influence of some alcohol for all of
Hmm.
us. So why would I choose to carry it?
Well, yeah,
Because
because again, you're the one that's going to suffer from
exactly.
carrying it over long term. Yep.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, it's not going to affect them what's going on with you. So
Yeah, I mean, we have billions of bits of data available to us at all times, and the human brain processes around 11 million bits per second, which sounds like a lot, but we're actually only consciously aware of around 45 of those 11 million bits per second. So we're consciously aware of about 0.04% of reality. And it's our reticular activating system in the brain that's filtering those 11 million bits of data per second and showing us what to focus on based off of the data that we have. So why would I want my reticular activating system to focus on what I don't want? I want to focus on healing, on wholeness, on forgiveness, on moving forward in a really healthy way instead of living in that trauma.
have you seen any of these guys since any
No.
of that?
No.
Okay. I mean, because I would think that would, but I'm like you. I'm in a wheelchair because someone hit me and broke my neck in a game of football. Okay. Nowhere near what you experienced. All right. But I'm at the point, and it took me a while, because now I can't walk and can't do the normal thing everybody else. But it took me a while that I'm like you. I hope the guy that hit me, I hope he's having the best life possible. I hope you may not be thinking that with what you went through, but I mean, just as long as they're away from you. But I'm saying, I hope he's not going, man, I ruined this guy's life. And then he didn't do anything in his life. No, I've turned out to have a decent life, a good life. And I hope the best for him. I'm like you, I'm too old for this crap, to hold grudges and stuff. And no, I'm 60 years old. What I got left, I just want people to have the best life possible. If they screwed me up, hey, more power to you. But I hope you're better. And and I know I did wrong to other people. I just hope when I apologize, if they accept the apology, and if they do or don't, I can't do any more about that.
Yeah, it's not your responsibility. It's off out of our hands once we grant that forgiveness. And forgiveness is for us.
It's power. It's powerful.
Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
powerful. Again, like you said, it's powerful for us.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did write a short collection of original poetry in a book a couple years ago. It was incredibly cathartic to release that to the world. And I'm working on a second book
Is
that's,
this the one you're talking about? Look Lush?
yes, yes, Look Lush was my first foray into the world of publishing. I did that with the self-publishing arm of Hay House, which is called Balboa Press. And
Mm-hmm.
it's 55 original poems. The first section is called Look, and the second section is called Lush. And these 55 poems generally outline my journey of healing the sexual trauma as well as getting sober. Because really, when I got raped at 28 years old, one of the mechanisms that I used to really not deal with it is to drink.
Yeah.
I drank more and more until I was completely addicted to alcohol. And it's when I really began to start to get sober that I said, you know what, I really need to look at this. And the magic of meditation has helped me to look very gently and to dig out the subconscious patterns and the disempowering beliefs that I've carried into my life. And if we just hold it in a certain lightness, and that's what the poetry is intended to do. When I was getting sober, it was the height of 2020 and isolation. I was like 86 days sober when quarantine hit. And so I spent a lot of time, I live in Florida near the beach. I spent a lot of time at the beach. I spent a lot of time in parks and in nature, really connecting with myself and with Mother Nature in order to stay sober and to really look with a lot of tenderness in meditative moments at this gift of this trauma.
See, and that's powerful again, to go back and look, you say a gift of the trauma and everything. Again, if we look at it more positive, not to discount it happened, but look at it more positive, it's easier for us. And again, I think it's just powerful that people, when they're able to do that. And again, you're setting a great example for someone else that's going to hear this in the future that's been sexually assaulted and hear, your taste or version of getting better. More, and again, I just think it's powerful. So,
yeah, everything is perspective. Everything. In fact, quantum science, quantum physics proves that the interior of every atom, that's it doesn't matter if it's water or some aspect of the stars, every atom is essentially the same on the inside. Not only are the bulk of the atom is made up of possibility. It's 99.999999999% possibility that the individual particles inside of every atom, the quarks, the neutrinos, the protons, the neutrons, all of these tiny little particles exist in possibility until they are observed. And this has been proven in multiple experiments, that it is our perception that actually influences what we see. And that's why they say they've got his story, her story, and the truth in this accident. And it's just because of the power of perspective. We can take our camera on our smartphone and change the way that we look at something, and that completely changes the tableau. So it's all about that experience. We get to decide how we're going to interpret it and what we're going to do with it moving forward.
Now, not to get into asking your age or anything.
I know how 40 today.
Today?
Today. Well, today I am.
Not birthday today. Not birthday today, just today. Okay, I get you. All right. So now, but I was going to say 28. How long did it take you to finally realize you need to straighten this out, within yourself? You're tired of being miserable, tired of the drinking, tired of everything. It's time to, but how long did it take you to do? See, again, for my example, I tell people I got paralyzed. It took me like 5 years. I was in that depression, but I did my best to hide it from everybody. Every time they see me, hey, James, how you doing? I'm good, cool. But then I go to bed at night, and then poor, pitiful me, and then so like 5 years later, I talked to someone, and they said they could tell the difference between me and then. And they said, and I thought I was hiding it good. And she said, we used to, talk to you after you first got hurt, and we were all betting when you were going to kill yourself. And I thought I hit it pretty good. Wow. They said, well, you didn't have it as good as you thought you did. And she said, 5 years later, like I said, she could tell a difference in me. So how long did it take you, it's time to heal?
Well, I think you did a better job than me, because I stayed drunk for longer. I was raped in 2009, and in 2016, I got sober for the first time because I got pregnant.
Okay.
And so I didn't drink the entire pregnancy. And it was because of my meditation practice that I had already established, that during those quiet moments, because I didn't have I call it the wet blanket of alcohol anymore. During those times of meditation, there would be this little, hey, you haven't dealt with this. And so I was able to use those quiet moments to really say, you know what, I haven't dealt with this. And then I was sober. I had a baby, and I really didn't get sober finally until 2019.
Mhm.
So I was in the year of 2019, I got sober, I got a divorce, and I came out of the closet as a gay woman, finally being able to express myself and live my truth. And it was in 2019 and 2020 that I began to piece through all of the trauma and to be able to find practitioners where I felt safe to be able to process and then finally release through meditative practices what had happened, and to be able to come to a sense of forgiveness. And of course, those sentences roll off my tongue so easily. I'm not saying that it was easy, but it was very worth it. It's a pretty simple process to look.
Well, yeah. Getting through any trauma is not the easiest thing in the world.
Mhm.
But once you get through it, it's easier each day after that. So yeah, you're getting through it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's finally making that decision to. And
Mhm.
I like what you said a minute ago about uh, finding someone trustworthy to talk with or talk to.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I've told other people, if you can't find a preacher, minister, professional, psychiatrist, psychologist, if you don't trust your best friend, don't trust your mom and dad, I said, get on one of those hotlines,
Yeah.
lie what your name is. They don't care what your name is. And then open up to that stranger and
Yes.
then hang up.
Yeah.
Some way you've got to be able to release this without holding it in.
Yeah, there's a fantastic book by the Archbishop of South Africa called The Book of Forgiving. So it's by Archbishop Desmond Tutu and his daughter Mpho Tutu. And they have a fourfold process of forgiveness. And the first step is to tell that story. And the second step is to name the hurt, to be really honest about how this hurt. Once we go through steps 1 and 2, which may take years, it may take several iterations, and being able to tell the story in different ways. Of course, I told it privately, and then I told the story in poetry, and then finally released it to the world in 2022. And then I've been going on podcasts speaking about my experience, which has all been incredibly cathartic to be able to share with others that, yes, I have been hurt, but I have granted forgiveness, and it has made me so much stronger to tell the story, to name the hurt, to grant the forgiveness, and then to decide to move forward with my life. It is such a big release. I don't live
Again,
without
I'm a big advocate on paying things forward.
it.
So these podcasts you're talking about, your
Yes,
book that you're putting out, your second book in the future coming, it's just going to help the next person that suffers
yes.
this type of tragedy and to move forward in life. And they're going to do the old thing. Well, if Sara can do it, I can do it. From
That's
there.
right. That's
So
right.
now I'm going to ask this stupid question, and just because I'm ignorant, okay, I don't know and don't understand. You said you were able to come out of the closet.
Mhm.
Where do you feel that you were gay all your life, or did it come out because you got raped and then I don't have anything to do with men, so I'm going to go with the women I trust? Now
Go.
again, I'm sure it's stupid because
It's
I
not
just don't
stupid.
know.
Well, and typically I do tell a little bit more about my personal history with women. When I turned 18, so I was raised very strict Southern Baptist, in church every single day and night, especially because I was in school there. I didn't even think that being gay was a possibility. When I turned 18, I went to college and I had my first drinks, and I kissed a girl right around the time that Katy Perry song
Oh
came
yeah,
out.
yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
I I knew that I was gay, but I lived as a bisexual for a long time, really primarily dating women all through college, even after college. And then when it came to time to get settled and have a baby, I just knew that my family of origin would not accept me as a gay woman. And so I married a man and procreated with a man, my ex-husband. And so the rape didn't make me gay.
Okay.
It's just that I decided I didn't have to live a lie anymore. And I finally was able to come out and not be afraid. I didn't come out publicly to the world till I was 40. I came out to my family when I was 38. And my brother and my sister are very accepting. My parents just completely deny. They don't even admit that I have a wife. They changed the subject. They, of course, did not come to my wedding.
Yeah.
But
I can see that with mom and dad.
hmm.
And the only reason I can say that is because, mom and dad, man, woman, and they don't want to see. Hey, I had another guy. I really respect this guy. Known him, 40 years. And I remember a long time ago, he told me, and he's older than me. He was my baseball coach. But he told me one time that if his son ever told him he was gay, he would disown him, but his son never turned out like that. But that was one of his requirements, and I'm thinking, to say you disowning them, and that's hard. I mean, you may not agree with it, what's going on, but you're not going to live their life all your life, or their life, however you want to put it. But yeah, I had a hard time understanding that, they're happy one way, and it doesn't matter whether you're happy with it or not. You just need to be tolerant, acceptable. So,
Yeah,
but his son never turned out like that. He just said if he ever did. So,
there's some people who have kids because they want to have friends, and then there's some people who have kids so that they can control these people. And so it's just a matter of desire. It's like they don't want their children to grow up. Why? You didn't want to have a human being? This is another life, not somebody that you get to tell what to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, yep. I know that was a stupid question, but
Not at all.
Yep. I taught school for a while, and I used to do the old thing.
Too.
Well, and I did the old thing, telling the kids. I taught science, and I say, "Hey, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You may be asked a question, and four of the people are thinking of. They just well, one of my students one time asked a question. I go, "That's not a stupid question, but that's pretty borderline right there." So, I forgot what it was and everything like that. And of course, I try to be funny in class to make it teaching, but that's pretty close right there on that borderline, though. And so, all right. But yeah, I'm one of them. But you ask a question because you don't know it, and let's
absolutely
so we can learn.
It's a great question. Yeah.
So, absolutely. All right. All right. So let's get into here in your future now. So and coming out again, we had a little discussion before, coming out with you being gay, with you now married wife and everything. Again, that's more powerful again as well, to help someone else in the future here again, because it's still, even though we're 2024 soon to be 2025, it's still a taboo for people to bring out. And again, it's not like 300 years ago. Things are changing, and people were doing it back 300 years ago. They just had to do it quietly.
Sure.
And so now, I'm glad that the times are changing. And we mentioned this, like talking about ADA and everything. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was 100 years ago. Absolutely. So even with coming out of the closet, it's not perfect, but it's better than it was. And so hopefully in another 50 years, 100 years, it's going to be better, and easier for everybody else too then. So, And I'm one of them. I'm not gay, but I'm one of them that everybody lives their own life. As long as you're happy, it's none of my business.
Right.
You
Not
know,
hurting anybody.
exactly.
As
And
long as
other
you're not
people,
hurting anybody.
too many people today, and I'm telling you people, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, you can turn off and move on to another podcast. Too many people stick their nose in too many other people's business that you have no
Mm.
business being into.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
now I'll get off my little soapbox off my wheelchair now and come back down here. But I'm so glad that you were able to move forward in life. And again, you're going to empower other people. Again, 100 years from now, they say this stuff's on the internet forever. So 100 years from now, somebody's accidentally going to find this thing, and then they're going to say, "What? What is this?" And then they're going to hear your story, and you're going to help someone in 100 years from now, Sarah.
I believe it. It's a ripple effect, right?
Yes.
One of my reasons for being here, I believe, my dharma that I am following is to empower 28 million humans to find themselves, to uncover trauma through the magic of meditation. I want to help 28 million, which is a big number. And 28 is pivotal in my life because I was raped when I was 28. I got sober on December 28th. There's a lot I could go into more detail. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why I'm here, is because when we have the power of podcasts and radio waves and all of the digital expanse, these stories can impact millions upon millions for generations and generations. So thank you.
Well, I truly believe you're going to impact the 10 listeners I have. I may have lost 3 of them when I got on my rant a minute ago. I don't know, but no, you're definitely going to help again. Coming up, I mean, again, how many people, like I said, 50 years ago, would be talking this, and here you're able to do this, and so you're going to encourage the next person. As difficult it may be, finally open up to mom and dad. Difficult it may be to your siblings, difficult it may be to the world, but they're going to go, Sarah can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. And from there, forgot I was going to mention something else here, but don't get old like me, Sarah. You forget things too easy.
Right.
So,
Well, getting old beats the alternative. So I think I'm going to keep on.
wait, this is what I was going to go with. You seem that you have found your purpose. Maybe not your only purpose, but part of your purpose is just getting healthier, getting healing, and helping the next people ahead, paying it forward, the ripple effect again. And part of the reason I do podcasting is I attempted suicide 3 times in 3 days, just 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Wow.
That's how bad I wanted out of here. And, um, and of course, I had to see a psychologist. You live, you do, you got to see a psychiatrist, to get healed and everything. And he's the one who told me that I had a story that I needed to be a public speaker now, motivate other people, inspire them, write a book. And then eventually podcast came because I was going, but everybody's tired of hearing my story. Let's get other people's story out. So that's part of my main objective is getting your story and other people's stories out to help other people.
That's beautiful.
So that I think it's part of for whatever reason, 3 days and 3 suicide attempts in 3 days, and God didn't take me. I'm left here for some reason. And I think this may be part of it, is since I enjoy laughing and gagging and talking, that I can get other people's stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful.
Hey, Sarah, let's go ahead. We're going to get ready to wrap it on up. But if you have anything else you want to say, and then you can tell us any of your social medias, any courses, again, about your next book coming out, anything you want to do with that.
So many of the rainbow alphabet, the LGBTQIA plus community suffers with suicidal ideation, with anxiety, depression, especially lesbians. We have this running joke in our queer community about, what do lesbians bring on a second date? They bring a U-Haul. Well, that is cause for a lot of heartbreak and heartache, and queer people in general tend to be heartbroken in the closet and heartbroken out of the closet. And none of that has to do with anything romantic. It's just that
Yeah.
we're either suffering inside the closet or suffering because we're of the rejection from society and people who allegedly love us. And so Queer Calm Collective and my online group, Queer Hearts Break Harder, my entire company at SaraWebbSays is laser focused on helping our community heal from within. The disempowering stories that we carry were implanted in our subconscious by well-meaning people, but unfortunately this human brain that we're equipped with holds on to these disempowering stories and continues to repeat them, especially during times when we are under stress. And so what we do is, as a master meditation teacher, I empower my queer community to stop the downward spiral and learn to spin within, so that we can control the two things that we can control, which are our thoughts and our actions. So that's what we do. You can find us everywhere at SaraWebbSays. That's SaraWebbSays. And I have multiple programs, whether those are online courses, live programs through Queer Calm Collective, also helping lesbians heal from heartbreak. So find us online and reach out. We are more than happy to help.
And I'll put the links when I find them, and you can send to me and put them in the show notes to make it easier for people to catch up with them.
Fantastic. Thank you so
All
much.
right, Sara, well, you have been a wonderful joy, a ray of sunshine for me. I just, again, when I hear people's stories of overcoming, it just pumps me up a little bit more and
Same here.
gives me that little bit more nugget to help me get through a difficult time then. So,
Same here. Same
all
here.
right, Sara, we know that people are hurting and struggling today. And if you can leave us with a positive message to help them get through today, that'd be a blessing.
Meditate. If there's one piece of advice I have for every human being, it's to spend time with yourself. You are the most permanent relationship in your life. And everybody's all consumed with this 3D world. And those 3Ds in my book are deny, distract, dissociate. If you can stop the downward spiral and learn to spin within, you can create your life of inner luxury. And that is just by simply closing your eyes and listening to that still small voice that has really beautiful things to say, just by getting to know yourself. I say it's building that sense of self with a capital S, because you are important. So prove it to yourself. Spend time with yourself. You deserve it.
If you can't love yourself, how can you expect someone else to?
That's right.
So, all right, Sara, thank you for being here. Appreciate everything. Everybody listening here, hey, share this to someone you know that could use a little bit of golden nugget to help them get through today. All right, Sara, again, sorry you went through everything, but I am so blessed that you have come as far as you have to empower me a little bit more, to understand a little bit more, and helping again people in the future.
Same here, James.
All right. Hey, I'm Dr. James Purdue, the professor of perseverance. Everybody do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.